Hello everyone, my name is Robbo and I am back to finish off reviewing Free Tempests lists of figures that he sent me a while back. And before I get into that, I want to apologise to him. This should have been done a month ago, in all honesty. I completely forgot about it, and that's terrible on my part because Tempest, for around a year now, has been supporting the channel via Patreon. He's been donating money every month to support me, and I really appreciate it. I really feel like I let him down with this. I really felt bad about it because I did completely forget about it until he actually mentioned it the other day. So that's on me. I feel terrible about that. I'm so sorry, mate. I know you're watching this right now, and I really do feel bad. Um, this honestly, like I say, it should have been done a month ago, and I'm sorry. So we'll jump straight into it. I'm going to finish it off this time. I'm not going to spread it into another one. I'm not sure how much stuff is left here. We look to be about 60% through it, so we should be able to finish it this time. So anyway, first figure, Golden Freezer, with the Emperor's Blast pose, super attack, and the Depth Beam as his ultimate. That one on the left has... They're two tasty amounts of stats. The speed on the right-hand one might be an issue. Just a little too high. Let's see what his stats are. 500 to all stats for self and ally behind. That's pretty good. Additionally, take no damage from the opponent when placed with an ally. Okay, that's very good. Attack both the opponent and ally behind. Interesting, a different new mechanic. Also, a bit of a reference, I think, to the Tournament of Power, I would assume. If no ally is behind, attack guy master. Interesting. 1.2 to all stats when defeating an ally, which is repeatable. Place when the only figure left on your team to laugh hysterically. Okay, I like that. Quite cool. I do like this figure. It's nice to see new mechanics. You know, attacking the enemy and an ally. Sort of attacking an ally is a completely new mechanic. So I'd love to see something like that implemented. Who could really take advantage of that? What's Oob's trigger squares? Is Oob back left? I think he is, isn't he? I think he's a back left and a front middle. Off the top of my head, I think that is. So if you stuck Oob behind this Golden Freezer, Freezer would be hitting Oob, which would be buffing him up. And at the same time, getting buffs from Freezer and stuff. That could be a really nasty combo, actually. So I kind of like that. I like this Freezer. After destroying the Ginemba, as I did last time, sort of for the complaints I had, it's nice to see this Golden Freezer. So I like him. So we'll give him a pass. We'll give him a pass, definitely. Few is next. End of Sneaky Strike for the pose. The Sneaky Strike itself is the super. And of course his Remote Serious Bomb is his ultimate. 6,660. Oh, you should have just left it as the number on the end. That would have looked so much cooler. Unless there's a reason for making it 0 at the end that I don't know. Otherwise, it would have been so cool to just have them be repeating numbers. Union of Might. Place on a trigger square to gain and collect the effects of a posing skill from any figure on the field. So that sounds as if you get the effect of 1. So if your opponent has... Let's go with the most powerful setup in the game of Piccolo, Vados, SSJ4 Goku. He would take the random of any of them, or on your side, if you're playing 2 figures on your side. So he'd get, say, Vados' 30% attack reduction. Additionally, copy skill effects from all opponents on the field, repeatable. That could be... Oof. Oh, that could be really nasty. From all opponents on the field. So, yeah, that could be very nasty because if you go first, then would you get the buffs of them going second or what? I don't know. I think you'd have to go second to get the up second skill buffs. That would be interesting. He's got trigger squares everywhere as well, which is pretty nice. The stats... The problem is, even if you're collecting all the skill effects, let's say you're against a speed team, they're probably running ally skills up. That's only 500. Well, no, you get 250 from each, wouldn't you? Because it would give 250 to all allies, so... His stats just aren't going to be that good, even with stealing opposing square. Or opposing skill, sorry. I just don't see it. That might be me, though, not fully looking into it. I didn't get a good night's sleep, so it probably wasn't the best idea to try and do something so mentally draining in the morning. Oh, well. Correct me. So tell me a bit more about it below, Tempest. It sounds interesting. It does sound interesting. It's just his stats are very low. Although his defense is very good. And his HP is good. So maybe I'm just overlooking that a bit. Right, onto Frost. The pose, Secret Poison. Chaos Shot, Secret Poison as his ultimate. Ooh. Those are some big old numbers there. So, disabling touch is his poison seal. Place on triggers for 700 to all stats and reduce all stats of attacked opponents by 70% until the end of next turn. That's really good. That's basically just a buffed up version of his current passive. And that's good. I like that. Which of his stats would be better? Oh, they're both really good because that's a good speed stat. Because bear in mind, on turn 1, he's now going up to over 6,500 speed with almost 8k attack. That's pretty nice, and those stats are looking pretty decent as well, so that's good. What's the second part? Place on turn 5 to reduce all opponents' stats to 1 once only. Ooh, I'm not a fan of that. It kind of basically makes it, if you get to turn 5, you win, because if you throw him down on turn 5, all of your opponent's stats are reduced to 1, they can't do anything to you, and they're just going to keel over because obviously they don't have their defense. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that part. Just because, like I say, it just seems a bit powerful if you get to turn 5. Admittedly, it's tough to get to turn 5 nowadays. Unless you're both running defense decks, you will usually be done by turn 4. But I'm not a fan of that part. I like everything before it. I like all of this. I love all of that. I think that's brilliant. And that's, to be honest, this is the sort of thing that the current Frost just needs as his awakening. Sort of as his limit break. If he limit broke into this, he'd be awesome. But yeah, not a fan of that. But I like the rest of it. UI Goku Omen. Now, I will say, I personally prefer the look of UI Goku in Omen form. I didn't particularly like the way Mastered Ultra Instinct look. I preferred this. Anyway, Mid-Meteor Crash as his pose, Super God Fist as his super, and a Warp Kamehameha as his ultimate. That's an interesting choice. I mean, what would you have Omen have as his super? It's just Warp Kamehameha is weird, because that's where he uses instant transmission in it. I'm not sure what ultimate I'd give him out of the current ones. Good HP on both. Very good attack, decent attack. Decent speed on both, really, for what they are. Posing skills, Seraphic Saiyan. Place on the trigger with minus 20% damage taken, that's good. Ignore changes to opponent's defense is good as well. Reduce opponent's ultimate attack damage by 50%. And increase own ultimate attack gauge by 30%. Stats during that turn only. Holy shit. Just that bit alone sounds awesome. Seriously, like... reduces damage taken. Ignores defense changes. Reduces ultimate attack damage and increases own attack damage. And he's that's a middle trigger square. That is one hell of an alter. What's the second part? Place when ultimate attack gauge is full to drop gauge to 0, but gain 9,500 attack and 5k to self and master. Plus 99,990 speed, restore maximum health, and attack both opponents in a column. So basically, it doesn't matter what his ultimate skill is because he doesn't use it. I don't know. Taking an ultimate out, because it is taking an ultimate out, because when you place him, it drops your gauge to 0, so you can't ultimate. I mean, it's a nice attack boost, I suppose. And it's basically giving yourself a Piccolo on the field. Plus he restores his HP. I can certainly see this one being the better one of the two. This one is good as well. It's just it doesn't seem to take advantage of this part of his posing skill. Not sure on that. I like the buff that he gets from this sort of ability. It's just taking an ultimate attack out of the gate. Maybe if the gauge was full, he doesn't attack for the turn but can't be hit and gets that stat boost for this turn. I don't know. Sort of, he gets the stat boost permanently, but he can't attack that turn. Something like that. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, ultimate attacks I'm on the fence of anyway, but you can't really take it off somebody like that. Assuming that's how it works. When I look through these lists, guys, it's my assumption of how they will work. It's not always how it's intended to, and if you'll look in the comments of previous ones, I've had Tempest correct me on things that I've said. So this is just how it reads to me. I certainly like him for the first half. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this. But then again, considering most people run O1 skills anyway, this wouldn't really happen anyway. Let's just go on to the next one. Tapion. Pose, he doesn't have one. He's invisible, I guess. You know what? I'll dig it. His super attack is the Hero Flute and the Brave Sword Slash as his ultimate. That's a nice beefy attack stat, and that's a good HP stat with decent attack. Those are some nice stats. Heroic Might. Place on a trigger square for 500 attack and defense repeatable. And restore 30% HP to all allies on the field at the end of the turn. Place alone for 5k defense to master. Plus 2k to all stats. Stacks during that turn only. And restore 50% HP to all allies and master at the end of the turn. Middle center. Well, you've got your new O1 skiller right there. I'm not sure if I'm a fan. Because he crosses the threshold. From how he reads, he crosses the threshold for me. Of, you've got good, and then you've got too good. And then you got that fine line. And he's just straddling on the wrong side of it, I think. Because the way he reads here, it's almost as if you've got to run him, and it's whoever's Tapion goes first wins. Like, the buff is good, and as is the heal. But this means that everybody will just run him as a turn 101 skiller. Because bear in mind, that puts 2,000 onto his stats. Plus that for 500. 6,700 speed on turn 1. Which goes up to what? 73 with the sort of boost to all stats. And then triple that for 01 speed. Not sure. I mean, this part alone is decent. Because the current Tapion is kind of like this, except without this, basically. He's just that, and he's a normal figure at the minute and N. So, I think buffing this part of it up would make it a really good awakening for him, a very good limit break. I'm not sure on this. Bear in mind, this makes him a better version of Jiren, and this makes him a better version of, in a way, a better version of the Evolution Blue Vegeta. Plus, he gets that as well when he's on his own. 50% to all allies and master at the end of the turn. Yeah, it just crosses that threshold, I think, just. But considering some of the shit that's in the game at the minute, they could do with a few more that do that, so... Good, but I'd just be tempted to tone him down a little bit. Right, on to the next one. Whis. Pose, Heavy Smash, Prelude to Destruction, Symphonic Destruction. Okay, those are some interesting stats, and there's only one figure for him, I guess. Cherubic Brilliance. Placed on the trigger swift for minus 60% to damage taken by all allies on the field. Minus 140% to opponent's ultimate attack damage. And cannot be countered. Stacks during that turn only, front left. So basically they said, let's take the current Whis and bang him on steroids. Although, to be fair, he only lasts 4 attacks. Yeah, he can't be countered, but... he lasts 5, 5. Because he'll get hit for 100 each time, that's the lowest you can do. So he'll last 5 attacks. Which means that people will literally just... sort of double stack over there. The damage reduction is very good. I'm not sure. He's a very good ult counter, obviously, and he can't be counterattacked, so it does take you 3 turns at least to kill him. But I'm not sold. I don't know, I just don't like the fact that he's just a lump. That's all he is, he's a lump that sits there and makes sure you can't kill all the stuff. At least the current Whis and Vados can put some damage out. Not much, but they can put some damage out. He is literally just a lump that will sit there. Actually, you could even make him pretty broken as well, because if we're throwing all of these units in here, throw this Tapion down with him. Like, throw this bulky version of him down, put this Tapion, this Whis, and stick Vados on the right, and yeah. This Tapion's buffing out of his mind. They've got minus 30% to their attack and minus 60% damage to all taken by your allies. Plus, he's healing for 30% each turn, which means it takes more than 3 turns to kill Whis. That's broken. That is a broken trio right there. Yeah, if you implement all of these, there could prove to be problems there. That does bring up some very interesting thoughts for strategies, though. So I don't know. I actually kind of like it in a way. That would be a complete dick strategy, but it would work. Next one, Margin Vegeta oppose Kakarot. Super attack death to Kakarot. Ultimate attack initiate Kakarot destruction sequence. Interesting name for an ultimate. To be fair, we do need a proper Margin Vegeta. We don't have one yet. So, solid stats. Solid stats. Posing skill, Eternal Rival, poor Goku. In brackets. When Goku's on the enemy team, plus 3,000 to all stats. That's pretty consistent, because a lot of teams run a version of Goku. End of Z Goku is very good, as is the SSJ4 Goku. Godku's not bad, so there's plenty of Gokus that people might use. So suddenly you're looking at 10k attack and a 7k speed. That's pretty nasty. And that's just on the enemy team. Oh, that's a little too busted, I think, because that means you've got a turn 1. Ooh, his turn 101 skill is... that's a bit meaty. That would make farming very easy, though, because he could blitz so many of those 7 stars. Though we shouldn't really be looking at this from a farming standpoint. We should be looking for it from a competitive one. Snatch during that turn, obviously. Attack Goku regardless of figure placement. Okay, so if there's a Goku on the field, it hits him regardless of if... If Goku was back left, Margin Vegeta would just hit him instead of either of these rows. If multiple Goku figures are on the field, attack all figures, okay. Including the Master. Not sure about that. That seems a bit ridiculous. Why are you throwing the Master in there as well? I can sort of go with hitting each of the Gokus at once, but don't know if I agree with including the Master in that as well. Ultimate attacks target Goku whether he's on the field or off the field, and nobody else. So you ultimate with Margin Vegeta, and it just basically blows straight up on the Goku. So you kill the Goku, but you don't really get the benefit of your ultimate attack. I don't think you'd ultimate with him very often. Additionally, gain plus 300% to ultimate attack damage to ensure Goku's demise. So basically, you ult and you kill the Goku figure. That could be very easily used against you, to be honest. If Cell, Frieza, or Majin Buu is on the field, these figures gain 500 attack, defense, and speed. This part of the posing skill will activate whether or not Goku is on the enemy team. I understand why Majin Buu is there. Why is Cell and Frieza? They have nothing to do with Majin Vegeta. I know that they've beat the shit out of Vegeta in the past, and he probably feels like a bit of a pussy when he thinks of them, but that just kind of doesn't make sense for this. Like I say, the Majin Buu, that does make sense. And I've said this before, I like when they theme figures. Which is a big reason why I like this Golden Frieza up here. Here. I like this because it's themed. It's themed around the Tournament of Power scene. I'm almost certain of that. This just doesn't quite add up for me. I like the fact that it also means that Majin Buu figures would suddenly become viable. So I like him. I like him. I think he's a bit wonky in some ways, but I like it. And I want to see a UR Margin Vegeta, so I'll take it. Vados. Oh god, they're giving us a new Vados. The pose is laughing. Destruction's Conductor super attack. Requiem of Destruction for ultimate. Okay. No defense up seconds needed for you because you're almost at the cap. And you're pretty beefy too, aren't you? Jubilant Wench. Wench? Did you just describe Vados as a wench? I think someone needs to give you a slap if you think she's a wench. Okay, I'll dig it. Can we have her in the bikini then? If we're gonna call her a wench, can we have bikini Vados at least? You know, can I have that? Laughing in a bikini. I think that's fair. Right, place it to reduce all opponents' attack by 50%, and ensure all allies receive a counter attack. Stacks during that turn only. Also, when using an ultimate attack, allow all allies on the field to perform an ultimate attack, but greatly reduces the damage of own ultimate attack. Okay, so basically, she means that Rose Goku Black would be very powerful because, one, it's reducing attack of them by 50%. So that means they're only hitting him for half damage. But it's this bit right here. He receives a counter attack as well. I'm trying to think, does that activate twice or is it just once? It should activate twice, really, in theory, but I have a feeling it's just once. If the game acted how it should do, it would be twice. Just imagine that. Throw this Vados down in the middle. Throw Whis, where the hell are you? There you are. Throw Whis down on the left and throw Rose down on the right, because I think he's a front right. If he's not the Goku Black, because he is a front right, I think. But throw them down. So you're talking 60% off damage taken and 50% off the enemy's attack. That Rose ain't taking any damage. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Again, you're asking for in fact, that actually makes Tapion even better. Because I made the team for him and Whis. This Vados is even better. Yeah, they get a counter attack, but they've got minus 50% defense and minus 60% damage taken by you guys. That trio would be broken. Like I say, at the minute, the state the game is in, there are broken figures that need to be countered. So I've not got a problem with that. I think it'd be quite fun, especially, like I say, just throw her in a bikini and I'm all good for that. Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4, Bluff Kamehameha pose, that's his super attack too, and the 100 times Big Bang Kamehameha. Decent stats on the left there, good HP and good attack with a solid speed stat. For a figure with 8k HP and 8k attack, having nearly 4k speed is very good. This one's very good as well with a massive HP stat. So, posing skills, oh god, here we go. Flanks. So it goes bottom left, bottom right, and top middle. So if you go on the bottom left or the bottom right, place on a trigger square for 500 to all stats and 15% to ultimate attack damage. Okay, good. When attacking, plus 15% damage taken and minus 15% damage dealt by attacked opponents. Cool. When attacked, plus 15% to own damage dealt and minus 15% damage taken. Okay, that's all good. That is all good. Middle square, unyielding force. Place to increase defense by attack, then drop attack to 0, and plus 20% to ultimate attack damage. Additionally, 500 speed to self and all allies. Also, 5,000 defense to master. Increase defense by attack, and plus 20 to ultimate attack damage. Huh? His attack is dropped to 0, and then you get 20% to your ultimate attack damage. Isn't 20% of 0 0? That's how that works, isn't it? Place to increase defense by your attack. So he goes down, turn 1. His defense gets boosted by his attack, so that goes up to 7,550. He now has 0 attack, and he gets 20% to his ultimate attack damage. You're like a reverse Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta in that position, and you're not really much better. I mean, you don't take damage, but you don't do fuck all. I mean, he's good as a buffer for the rest of the team, and I guess he's I guess he's a kind of Piccolo in there as well. I'm really hoping it's just me being an idiot and misreading it, because this sounds very strange. Like, to be honest, I'm fine with all of that part. I'm all for new mechanics and figures working in new ways. Increasing your defense massively, but having no attack because of it, is fine. Which, considering what I said about Whis, is probably just countering what I said before, but this guy does more than just that, plus he has options if he's on the flanks. I don't know, tell me, Tempest, if I'm looking into this wrong. It just seems like this part is completely worthless. Because he triggers there. If he triggered back here, okay, because then he could still sort of hit his ultimate, and the buff would make sense. Yeah, I'm not sure on that. I like, to be honest, all the way down to here, I'm a fan of. And to be honest, I'm quite a fan of that as well. It's just this that's causing me some issues there. But like I say, Tempest, explain it to me below if I'm misunderstanding. Kid Buu, we definitely need a UR Kid Buu to replace the old one. His pose is Quick Sleep, Pearl Flash, Super Attack, and Teleporting Vanishing Ball. Decent stats on this side. Not as good as some of the previous ones. This is interesting. 5k speed, 5k attack, good defense, good HP. What does that remind me of? I think one of the newer figures had something similar to this. Not quite as good on the stats, but similar idea of sort of good, sort of mid-range attack, decent speed, and sort of some high defense and decent HP pool. Posing skill, Bizzle Blitz? Bizzle? Bizzle Blitz, okay. Place on the trigger square to attack both opponents in a column. Gain 2,000 to own attack and speed when defeating an opponent. Cool. And restore 50% of max HP at end of turn. Additionally, place when an ultimate attack is activated for 30% to ultimate attack damage. He seems pretty nasty. Fuck our phone. Yeah, he seems pretty nasty. He seems pretty good. I like him. We definitely need a new one. I like his trigger squares. Although, the problem with putting a figure as a back right, I mean, it wouldn't apply to him because you wouldn't run him in the slow deck. But back right is probably, yeah, it's probably the most highly contested position on the board. I would say back left is probably least. Back left or front left. Either of those two are least. These two are probably higher priority, but this is definitely most contested because you're talking about stuff for speed teams. Vegito goes there. Obviously, for slower teams, you've got the Blue Vegeta, you've got the Omega Shenron. There's so many figures that pose back there, so it's always a rough trigger square going back there. So it's definitely sort of, it's not ruinous because he has front, middle, and front left, so that's very good as well. It's just always such a hard trigger square to fight for. But I like him. Android 21, cool. Definitely could do with a new version of her. I'd like her in a different outfit. So we got her in a lab one. I'd prefer a Martian sort of appearance to come out, or even her evil form when she absorbed Cell. Pose Savory Slicer, which is a super attack too. Excellent full course as her ultimate. I like that. Wow, those are some interesting stats on both sides there. Whew. She is one hell of an attacker on that side, and she's using that thickness to her advantage on this side. Gluttonous Demon. So, place on the trigger square for 700 all stats. That's really good. And steals skill effects from all opponents on the fit. Holy shit! Also, plus 50% ultimate attack damage and minus 50% ultimate attack damage to all opponents. That is, whew, yeah, she's looking pretty tasty. She triggers in the front squares, that's no big deal. What would you run on her? You could make her an 01 skiller, first turn. She would kill almost anything. Because bear in mind, first turn, she's got a 9900 attacks and a 4300 speed, which goes up to 5k with the 01 skill, which is tripled. Yeah, either one of them on the first turn is going to do a great job, so I like her. Definitely need her in a different outfit, though. Definitely need her in the... I'd probably go for the evil version of her. I like the look of it. I like both forms, but I think we need a different outfit for her than the just a scientist one. Alright, and now we got my girl Ribrianne. Obviously, this will be in a bikini. There's no doubt about that. This Ribrianne will have to be a bikini figure. It's what we all need in our lives. Sort of posing there with the pretty cannon. And her ultimate attack is the posing one. That doesn't really narrow it down when it comes to Ribrianne. She posed a lot. Right, let's see the stats. Those stats look far too similar to what her current figure is. These ones are different and they're interesting. Good defense, decent speed. This one does just remind me so much of the current figure. I don't like those stats. The two middle of the road, you've got three stats that are... Well, no, the speed isn't. The speed is above average. But this is two middle of the road, sort of in HP and attack. I don't like that. I just don't think it's a very good look for a figure when they have stats like that. So she's a hopeless romantic, of course. Place on the trigger with 30% to own damage dealt. Minus 20% to own damage taken. 1000 attack to all allies and 500 defense to all allies. Stacks during that turn only. Additionally, when an ally is defeated, randomly selects one opponent to join your team once only. I like that. When using an ultimate attack, completely restores HP of all master and allies, but greatly reduces damage for all attacks. So she only does 100 damage with her ultimate attack. Or no, with an ultimate attack. So, okay. Front left, back, or front right, back left. Okay. She's not broken enough. She has to be more broken. If you're going to break a figure, break Ribrianne, because it will trigger the entire Dragon Ball community. If you want to make somebody a broken figure, make Bikini Ribrianne be the most broken figure in the game. Because that will be hilarious. I would love it. Because I would just troll the shit out of everybody. Because I've been asking for that. Ever since they made Ribrianne in the game, announced her, I wanted her to be broken. I don't think she is. I think she's okay. I don't think I'd ever see her getting in a team. I like this, to be fair. Again, for the same rule as before. I like new mechanics. This is a good new mechanic. Sort of taking one of your opponent's figures randomly once they knock one of yours out. That could be really, really cool. So I'm a fan of that. Don't think it's a great figure, but it's another one with a good new mechanic in, so I like it. Right, that's all the figures done. Now there's just some balance adjustments he wants to say. The Master needs a buff, either increase HP to 30,000 at level 99 or increase max level to 120 where it ends up 30k. Definitely agree. Master HP is far too low. It's very easy to blitz your opponent down with no way of them stopping you. Honestly, I think 30k might even be too low. For the sole reason that Android 18 still exists, and it is very easy for you to do 20k damage in one turn. And then if you manage to lock them down with an Android 18, where you've got a free reign at their master, I would honestly say 35,000 to 40,000 master HP personally. Because there's far too many games I've played where it's ended because of master dying. I prefer to see the figures battle it out, personally. I think it's a much more satisfying way to win and knock out all their figures. But maybe that's just me just wanting to kill all the things they love and brought to the table with them. A large number of team slots is required. Definitely. 8 team slots is not enough. Same with the box space. We need more box space. We need to double our box space. They need to give us... 30 teams is a bit... I mean, I wouldn't complain, but I don't think I'd ever use 30. I'd think 15. Give me 15 spaces for decks. That would be good, because I could have a few of my trolley decks in there at all times. I could have a few of my main decks and then a few saved for when I want to do certain runs with certain figures. So I reckon 15 would be good. And as I say, 35 to 40k HP. But that is the end of Free Tempest's figure list that he sent me, as well as obviously a few balance adjustments. I've really liked it. I really enjoyed doing the first two videos, and I've really enjoyed this one as well. I don't agree with everything he's added here, and I'm sure I've gotten a bunch of the stuff wrong because of it, but I can only go off of what I think I'm reading and how I'm interpreting it. So if I'm interpreting it wrong, I apologise. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below. Which of these figures would you actually like to see in the game? Do you have any suggestions for figures yourself? Feel free to send me them. You can either leave the list in the comments below, or ideally send it in a Word document to quirkybadger22@gmail.com, which is the email I use. Don't ask why for the name. But yeah, send them there if you want me to review them, because I will happily do a video doing this. I like doing stuff like this. When it comes to Hero Colosseum, I don't really record much in the way of gameplay anymore. I honestly prefer stuff like this. Reviewing stuff like this, to give a little bit of a spoiler away, I will be doing commentary videos on other games that are being played. I will only say that for the time being. So I look forward to that. I am. I've always wanted to do commentary on games. Sort of, I like that thought, sort of that idea of doing it that way. I still love this game, don't get me wrong. It's just I have more fun looking over stuff like this or commentating on other games. So yeah, like I say, thank you so much for watching. Big shout out to Free Tempest. Thank you all, once again so much, mate. I'm so sorry it took me this long to finish this. It's no excuse. There's no excuse. But all the support you've shown me, I should have done this a lot sooner. I really am so sorry. Thank you so much for your support, Tempest. I really do appreciate it. Send me any figures sort of you want me to review again anytime soon, and just beat me over the head with messages until I actually do the video on it. But yeah, thank you all as well for watching. Do appreciate it. Leave a little comment for Tempest in the comments below. Do it for him. Don't do it for me. Do it for Tempest, because he deserves it. He's an MVP. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.